it's Jules here, and we're going to talk today about Lego and especially dioramas. And the one I'm going to talk about here is the Battle of Helm's Deep, which I've been working on for quite a long time. The reason dioramas take time is because you usually have to build up from small and work up. So basically, you've got to get some key theme, and from that theme, you're building as much accuracy as you can. So this one here, what I did is I built the Helm's Deep, which, if you look at it, is based on the Two Towers, Peter Jackson's 2002 film called The Two Towers, and there's a dramatic battle in there called the Battle of Helm's Deep. And it's amazing that Peter Jackson did such an accurate job, but it's not exactly on with the book. So, for example, the defenders who were in the castle, they weren't elf warriors. Um, but Peter Jackson liked the aspect of it because people love the elves. So the elf warriors are pretty cool looking. So they're included, and I've included them in this set. The wargs, that's another thing. They weren't in the movie. The battle wolves, they call them battle wolves, wargs. I've included those as well. So just taken some license to add some things. But the fun of it is that it recreates as close as possible your view of what that battle was like. So I'm just going to give you a little, so you can go to Wikipedia to follow this, and it's very good. They give you a really good insight. The Helm's Deep was actually a valley, and it had a fortress called the Hornburg. So the fortress itself is called the Hornburg. Um, it was a refuge for the army of Rohan. So the Rohirrim under King Theoden are assaulted by the forces of Saruman, and it was a massive army. Um, the Hornburg had never been fallen to an assault before; like it was always victorious. There was a massive army that was led by Uruk-hai and Dunlendings that were sent by Saruman, and it almost overwhelmed the forces of the fortress. There was quite an interesting thing that happened. They tried to breach the wall, and they finally did with a huge explosion of a culvert, and we'll show you that. It was like the Fire of Orthanc, they called it. It's kind of like a gunpowder. So they had developed that, and they used it in this battle. The defenders held out the fortress until the morning, until dawn, and then Theoden and Aragorn lead a cavalry charge that drive the orcs from the fortress. So inside the fort, they had breached inside, and they decided to use the horses in a cavalry charge to drive the orcs out of the fortress. You'll see that. So we're at that stage of the battle where it's coming towards the end. Um, Also in the rear, there's these tree-like Hughorns. Hughorns, funny names. And they're like big trees, monstrous trees. And I built one of those. You can see what it looks like. And those came from the rear, and basically the enemy was driven um, into these Hurons, and they wiped them out. And all the other forces, of course, um, all came and basically just attacked them and forced them into there, and they were finished off, the orcs. So the whole battle was won all in the morning. So what we're going to do is we're going to go along with the battle, and I've got a little bit of a information sheet here. Lorraine is the filmer. She's filming this, and
Hi.
thank you, Lorraine, for doing that. And we're gonna talk about what I've set up here, and so we'll cut off here, and then we'll start with the review of the whole castle and everything. So thank you. Okay, so here you can see the whole battle scene recreated for Helm's Deep. And there's a lot of work and a lot of customization in here. So we're going to go and I'm going to show you the different parts, um, especially the castle, what we did there. So if you come down to here, you're going to see some parts. So we're going to start sort of left and right. Um, Try to build up rock here to create this feeling of the mountain around you. So this is all created rock in here. Um, Wanted to show, so let's just talk a little bit about, here's the culvert here. That was a little culvert, and this is where the wall was breached right here. Here's our fellow who set the explosion that created all of this. So the orcs, you can see, Urukai orcs, one and the same name. They're all attacking. You can see them all here attacking. Now they're breaching the wall, so they're going to be entering. And the Rohirrim are in the background, and they're waiting to protect everybody here. There's a battering ram down here. I wanted to show this. Created this battering ram. They actually initially tried to break the doors down, and unsuccessfully, because Aragorn right here, by the way, one of the heroes was right here. He had come and interrupted this, and they never did get the battering ram. The battering ram is just sort of left here, but we show it. So the orcs, they raise ladders to scale the wall. So you can see some of them are scaling right here. All of them going up the ladder. And that was one of the ways they were trying to get in here, is to scale the wall. So they're coming up all these different directions here. So Saruman's army was quite a large army. They say over 10,000, was probably closer to 15,000. So they broke through the gate. Theoden and Aragorn rode out, followed by the Rohirrim left inside, and they cut their way through the orcs and drove them back. So what ended up happening is when they breached and got um, into the castle, there was a cavalry charge that was led to push them, the orcs, out of the castle. So you see that happening right here. See how they're forcing them out. So they cut their way. So when dawn came, both armies saw that there was a forest of these Huorns. That's a Huorn. It's carrying a big stone, more than a stone. That's a pretty big rock there. And there was a whole forest of them. Now, the thing is with this, I didn't have enough room to show this, but there'd be a whole army of these guys. And they'd be coming from the back, they'd be coming this way, and these guys would be scared right into them. So, and at the same time, Gandalf comes and he's riding down. So this I built as well to give some feeling of what that was. Coming from this side, from up on the hill or the mountain, they rode down with the horses. And so this is kind of a fun part here because Gandalf is coming in, and there's that charge coming. So over here we have the wargs. They're like wolf-like creatures. They're coming in as well, but very shortly, with all this happening, these guys riding down, um, all this action, the Hurons coming from the back, the whole army here is going to be wiped out completely. So I wanted to show some of the little cool little guys too. Like you'll see here, like we talked about the elves, right? So there's the elves that I was talking about. How important they are because they have that real showpieces. They look really cool. So I wanted to show that. Uh, Here's Gimli, this guy right here with the long beard. He was fantastic in the attack. he was destroying quite a few. And Legolas here and him had a bet on who would kill the most. So that was kind of a fun thing between the two of them. So that's the whole battle scene. And as you can see, there's lots of detail in here. Um, this tower, there's actually a little horn in here. A horn that set off all the cavalry charge. So that's, you see, there's a guy up there. Yeah, it's quite the scene. Tried to make it as realistic as possible. Tried to put a lot of action in here, and so I hope you enjoyed that. And that's just something that I've really enjoyed doing is these type of scenarios. And I'm going to do. I'm going to show you some more of them that I've done. But this is the one that I've taken a little bit of time to put it together and tell you about it. So thank you very much.